happy Tuesday 10 at 10. I am your host and baker influencer, Richard Charpentier. I am a certified master baker and bakery scientist. And we got lots of great questions from you, the bakers, today. So let's get started. So our first question of the day is regarding wheat protein isolate. How much wheat protein isolate should be used in baking application? With the trend moving towards a lot of people trying to add more protein into breads, such as the keto diet and other, healthier, better for you approaches, adding protein is great, but how much to add? That's the question. So the simple rule is like if you want to add vital wheat gluten, wheat protein isolate, it's about 90% protein. That's what the isolate is, with a lower moisture. So what claim are you trying to add? Because remember, if you're making a bread, you still have to build a structure. And the more protein you add, it's going to create issues as well in terms of shelf life. If you put it into a package and, protein needs much more water in order to stay moist. So you don't want to end up, adding so much extra protein that then it's not a pleasant product. So to answer the question simply, put as much as you can and still get a decent, high quality, good tasting product. If you're trying to shoot for 15 grams per serving, it creates other issues. And as you increase the wheat protein isolate in your formulation, the cost will go up. So you might end up with a great quality bread, but then you have to sell it for $15, $20 a loaf. So do your homework. Just ensure that adding protein in your process works, that you can make a good quality, consistent product day in and day out. People like it, do the product development, R&D testing, marketing testing, and then check the shelf life. And if you have all that and the price point is good, that's going to be the amount of wheat protein isolate you have to add in. And remember, it's not limited to wheat protein isolate. If you add protein can come from different sources other than wheat. You can get it in lentil and soy and pumpkin, etc. So you can be creative and really play around with a different vegetable protein to increase the protein content of your bread. I hope it helps. So thank you for sending the question. Now there's a question regarding someone is looking for a cooling system that will cool the muffin and tray. It's basically a cooling system. So what's important when you have a cooling system and you're making products and there's several systems that you can use. There's spiral cooling, so where you go after the oven, where the trays will go, you can either depend whether the products will go in a spiral going up and then coming back down. And what you're trying to do is the temperature at which you're going to package the product. If you package a muffin that's going to be too hot let's say your bakery temperature is 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and you want to package your product 10 degrees plus or minus, so between 80 to 100 degrees, that's when you should put the product into the packaging. So when you think of cooling, if you cool too fast, you could have seen people put their products, the muffin, for example, and they put to blast chiller. So they're rapidly cooling down the product and then they're packaging after. So now the difference, the delta between the ambient temperature and the temperature of the muffin, now the muffin is at about 30 Fahrenheit. So that delta, when you bring it back into room temperature, will create condensation, which will create mold. That's why, there's no perfect system of cooling. You can cool very fast, or you can cool a little slower. What's important is what temperature do you package your product into it. Unless if it's a frozen product and you don't have to individually package it, I would say go through a freezing system or blast freezing system, which will reduce temperature rapidly. If not anything where you're forcing the temperature coming out of the oven, you have to have enough energy, and you have to come back at, again, the crucial part of it is what temperature do you package the product at, because that's very important for the longevity, shelf life, quality, and consistency of your muffins. So I hope it helped. So now for our last question of the day, someone wants to know that they're making biscuits and they're baking in a direct gas oven, and what negative effect that the combustion products cause on the product. How can it be prevented? So any good quality, new, well-maintained oven should not have any issues. If you have potential effect on your finished biscuits due to the oven, and I'm not quite sure, negative effect of the combustion, because you have either direct or indirect flame oven, and each oven will have its way of baking, which is baking the product. So reaching to a kill point, internal temperature, giving you the brown color and the texture of any baked product, whether it is a biscuit, a cookie, a bread. The baking process, it says it serves its purpose of baking. So if you have negative effect, whether or not sure, what negative effect, it's controlling the oven. So if you have issues with your oven, I would highly recommend you reach out to the manufacturer of the oven and discuss the potential negative issues you see. But what's important when baking is you're not over baking, and you're at least baking to the kill point where internal temperature will be at about 100 to 200 degree Fahrenheit. And that would be a safe bet if you're using a wheat-based product or anything using starch to set the structure. Other than that, if you have potential problem, and if one side bakes hotter than the other, and then, it's have a good maintenance person or have contact the manufacturer of the equipment. And the last point regarding baking, remember, baking would not happen without an oven. So your oven is the most important piece of equipment you have in your bakery, because without it, we can't bake. And without being able to bake, there's no bakers, because that's what we do, we bake. And by baking properly, have a strong maintenance program on your oven. Make sure people are very familiar with in and out of the oven and how to better fix it, and the dampers and the venting, and how to better know your oven so you can better bake your products. So that's it today. So happy baking to all of you, and happy Tuesday, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.